And there you go.
Yep. That song never gets old. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since we've been in Twitch. Let's see if people still remember us.
Yeah, it's been a while. Do you know how long it's been, Nashua? Um, just to put it in perspective,
I
the since
think
the last time we were on Twitch, like between that period, we both had children, right? So yeah, that's
yeah.
is it. Yeah, says how long it's been. Um, and
I
then
don't think I was even married back then.
yeah, probably. Maybe
I
you
don't
weren't,
know.
but I was more
Yeah.
mature, so I was like, yeah. Um, but
Yeah.
anyway, it's been a while. It's been a long while. Um, what do we
How's
have for the
everyone
people
doing?
today? Sorry?
How's everyone doing? Do any of you recognize us? They're natural. Where are the real fans?
Yeah, I think Nacho is a superstar. I'm sort of always in the shadows, so I'm
Not
like the
familiar. Really.
yeah, yeah,
That's for sure.
most def.
How are you doing, Jervin?
Ah, not bad, not bad. Someone says he recognizes both of us, which is strange because
Oh no,
um
this is Mackie. He's just playing around.
is it someone just messing with us? Okay, okay. And here I was feeling really important, right? Um,
Well, for a second, that's for sure.
yeah, I'm back to reality.
Yeah. How are you doing, Jervin?
I'm not bad. Just have a little cold, but I'll survive. What about you?
Doing good. Um, yeah, I miss these Twitch live sessions. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, they were always
We
fun.
have a lot of fun, right?
Yep,
Especially interacting with the community and all of that. But
yep.
apart from that, I'm doing just as great. Um, just handling some OffSec stuff in the background, just to make sure everything is working and all of that. But
Right.
from that, all is good. I'm starting to adapt to the new lifestyle.
Nope.
It's proven to be hard, but one thing that I learned is I just have to not think about it and just, you know, go with the flow.
Yep,
Uh,
yep, yep. Um,
the for
be
for
like, be
those,
like.
yeah, good.
I was going to say, be like water, right? Was it Jet Li who said that? Be like water. So go with the flow,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Uh, that was what was his name? The famous athlete. What did you say? Which name?
I was talking about Jet Li, the kung fu. Um,
Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. Oh my goodness, Bruce Lee.
Jet
Yeah.
Li.
I'm just biased. I'm just biased anyway.
Who's Jet Li, German?
Uh,
What are
Oh,
you
there's
talking about?
but there is Jet Li, right? Jet Li is like
Right?
more yeah. I mean you could ask Kai, but yeah.
Oh, you brought up a good thing.
Yeah. 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 I mean
We
talking
can
about
always,
what we have for the people today, right? But
yeah.
a quick introduction for those of you who may not know us. My name is Jevin. You can call me Anansi. For short, that's my moniker online. Um, Not for when I'm doing illegal things, but just when I don't want to be known as Jevin. I work with the OffSec Academy. I am a technical cybersecurity trainer there. And yes, that's pretty much it about me in terms of work. For hobbies, I do a lot of stuff, including Kung Fu, right? That's why I know Jet Li. So that's about me. Not sure.
Yeah. Well, my name is Nasser Din Abdelli, but you can call me Nasro. My handle in Discord is AC3. Um, it doesn't really mean anything, just FYI. Um, I'm located in Algeria, and I'm part of the Academy or OffSec Academy team responsible for delivering live and online trainings for all of OffSec's courses, right? Um,
Yeah.
I've been here at OffSec for around 3 years and a half now. which doesn't seem like a long time, but uh, it's been a good 3.5 years, that's for sure. Apart from
Most
that, I come to you with over a decade of professional information security experience, and this is the stuff that I like to do, like sharing knowledge in a professional, structured manner, not just any other manner, right? Apart from that, I can't think of anything fun that I like to do, but like,
goodness.
apart from work, all I do is other stuff which might seem like work. For example, work on new certificates or do some research or read some articles, always related to work because it's relevant. But that's about me.
Yeah, yeah, that's what happens when your hobby becomes your work, right?
Yeah,
So you don't have
I'm
anything
not.
else to do.
I'm one thing for sure is that I'm not as interesting as Jerry. That's for sure.
Well, that's
So
true. That's true. I'm a
I'm
pretty interesting person. So yeah. Um, I mean, for example, my name Anansi actually means something. So yeah, it's
okay.
not.
So that's there's that. There's that.
Yeah, that's that. But one interesting fact about Nashville is, you see, people keep asking me, that who's the guy who sounds like Dracula, right? So yeah, so maybe that's
That
anyway.
came out of nowhere, but
Yeah,
sure.
it's been yeah. People ask me a lot, but I think this is the first time I'm bringing it out. Um, but anyway, I see people are joining the stream. That's great. What do you say, Nashville? Do we get started?
Should we? All right, we have 97, right? I
Mm.
think that's
Yeah,
that's a good amount to start with. So let's
awesome,
go and get started. Um,
awesome. Okay, so what do we have for the people today? Let me share my screen and then we can delve into the meat of the matter here. So
mhm.
let's see. Let me find the right screen, of course. Super important is to find the right screen. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. I have moved past the first slide. The slide is setting the agenda, right? So why are we here today? We are here to introduce you to OffSec's Knowledge AI, which we will herein refer to as Kai. And we will show you how best to use this to enhance your Pen 200 experience, right? Now, I know that the term AI is sort of a buzzword now. Everybody's like talking about AI, this, AI, that. Um, but we have found, as everybody is finding currently, that it provides a rich amount of capabilities that we would be remiss if we did not take advantage of. Right? Currently, what we have is we have curated our own personal AI engine that is going to help people presently for on their journey with the Pen 200 course. Right? Hopefully, I adequately addressed the topic, and we're actually
Uh,
here to talk about Kai, right? Not sure, not something else. You know,
yeah, that's going to be the focus of this call. But just to give you background, just to add to what Jervin said, here at OffSec is our focus is to help learners go through our awesome courses and hopefully obtain certificates. Kai is one of the tools that we are offering to our learners in order to enhance their learning journey, right? This is part of many, many other initiatives that OffSec has taken. If you're a student, if you have access to the portal, you know what I'm talking about, in order to help you through your OffSec journey. So yeah, we're very excited to bring up Kai and show you mainly how to use it in order to help yourself with your learning journey.
most def. Now, as we always do, we always want to make sure that we know where we are heading towards, right? So we have an agenda. Now, please forgive me, I may be turning my head from side to side sometimes. My camera is here, but my monitor is here, right? My other monitor, so I may turn my head off often. I'm still paying attention and listening and watching the chats. But essentially, we will run through how to get started with Kai 4.200. Then we'll delve into some of the capabilities that Kai currently provides. Now, remember, this is going to improve and increase its capabilities. We'll show you some of the present capabilities. And like Nashua highlighted, we will show you how best to engage Kai for learning or running through the content, getting some useful information, working on exercises, challenges, etc., right? Then we'll discuss or briefly touch on what is ahead of Kai. And one of the most important things on this call will be to solicit your feedback for this section and subsequently, so you can help us improve this wonderful product of ours, right? If you have any questions, please drop them in the chats. We will be monitoring, alternate. When I'm not talking, I'll take a look at the chats, and Nasha will do likewise. Okay,
Yeah.
so is everybody excited? Should we get going? I know you're certainly not here to listen to my voice and Nasho's just dribble on about nothing. So
What do you mean, Driven? I have my own fans. Don't say that.
okay, my bad, my
Sorry,
bad.
fam.
I'm
It,
sorry. All right, so hopefully you can see my screen. I'm just going to go ahead and just close this out. Now, like I mentioned, Kai has been specifically designed for Pen 200 presently, right? If you want to access Kai, you would have to navigate to the Pen 200 course. I'm going to do that shortly and select any of the learning modules here, right? This will take you into the view. So I'll select this one as an example. And you can see that Kai pops up at the top here. It's a tab that I have to visit, right? So I select Kai. Now, granted, you may have questions, right? Kai looks really small in this present tab. However, it looks a lot bigger in this one, right? This is what you would typically see when you access Kai in Pen 200. For the sake of the demo, we had to do some gymnastics in the browser to get it to expand the view of Kai for us, okay? But to access it once again would be to go to the main section of Pen 200 and then access Kai when you select any of the modules. Okay, now where do we start from with Kai? To quote The Sound of Music, we're going to start from the very beginning, right? It's a very good place to start. I don't know how many of you have seen The Sound of Music. I take a lot of things for granted, but it looks like some of it, I'm a little older than I look. So for those of you who can relate to that particular song, it's a do re mi song. So it's a basic song, right? So let's start from the
I don't
basics.
I don't know the song. Can you sing it for us, Driven?
And after the call, Nashua, after the call. I
Okay.
told you I have a cold. I'm trying to preserve my voice, right? And
Okay.
we would really appreciate it if you guys have any questions as we go along, right? This might be relatively new, but let's delve into the meat of the matter. So I'm going to navigate to this particular pane where I'm starting off from the very first informational, beyond the informational module, right? Penetration testing with Kali, general course information. Okay, so over here, I'm going to access Kai like I did previously, and Kai will pop up in this particular portion of my view. Now, we want to start you off on a journey, right? On a journey with Kai, where we take you through what are some of the introductory things that you would do when you get into the Pen 200 course, if you're relatively new to the course. What are some of the things Kai could assist you with? And like our agenda showed, we will then progress until we get to doing actual topic exercises and challenges, right? And so we'll provide you with some of the useful capabilities we have observed so far that we ourselves have used. We'll touch on some of the niche things, some of the things that you probably should not be doing. And we will highlight some of the good practices and prompts that Kai responds to very well currently. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's get right into it.
You talk a lot, Driven. So let's get right into it already. Tell me, how can Kai help me?
Yeah, good question. Good question. Why don't we ask Kai, right? Since you say I talk a lot, let me keep quiet and let's ask Kai instead. We'll let Kai do all the talking. Sure.
Okay.
So let's ask Kai who I was clicking somewhere else. I'm sorry. Probably typing in Zoom. Who are you? And what can you help me with? Right? Question mark, obviously. Let's see what Kai says. Now, there are some good things that you'll probably start picking up. Very often, if you want quick answers, you have to be in the module that you're asking the questions about. Right? Kai will start its search or attempt to answer a question by looking at the specific module you are in. So it can have the adequate context to provide you with a response. Now, you don't have to be in that module, you can be anywhere else. Kai will eventually find the specific area where the topic you're looking for is. But at present, and if you want quick responses, my encouragement to you is to do this in the section where the module where you're actually asking the question from. Someone says Zoom++, let's do that. I don't trust myself in clicking or doing control something, right? I always break stuff. So is this big enough for you to see? Let's see. My glasses are actually like telescopes, so everything is super huge for me. So let me know if this is large enough for everyone to see. Nasho, is it good on your end?
For me, it's good. Let's see if everyone thinks the same.
Okay. So that's much better than there's more. Wow. Okay, let's do one more. Just to straddle the middle point and not make it crazily huge, right? So okay. Yeah, this is way too big. I'm going to go one step back. Okay, this should be sufficient. Okay, all right. So we're good now. So Kai tells us about itself, right? I think that's a better description than I could have given you guys.
Yeah. So now that we know about Kai, let's pretend that I'm new in PWK or Pen 200.
Let's pretend,
How
not sure.
can it? Oh, yeah, sure. Let's pretend. Um, how can it help me through my PWK journey, or how can it help me get started?
Yep. That's also a question you can ask Kai. Now, remember, I'm doing this from the course informational. So my assumption is that Kai will have these answers readily available to it in this section, right? So let's ask Nasru's question. Now, Kai has memory, right? So inside this particular pane, as you can see, it can pivot off the previous question. So I'm going to say, what was Nasru's question again? How do I get started with the PWK? Now, I want to show you guys something. Well, partly this is my question, but partly I also wanted a little bit more, right? But let's see if Kai will understand exactly what I'm insinuating at, right? So how do I get started with a PWK?
And
Okay.
just to clarify, Jervin, this isn't a bunch of if else's, right? This is an actual AI in the background
Yeah, of
talking,
course.
right?
Yes, there's nobody in the background typing things out. No,
It could be Sid, which is one of the main developers of Kai, but
true,
just
true. So Kai responds with not, I mean, it's pretty generic, but it gives me some information. What I intended to ask was how do I get started with the PWK modules, etc., etc. So I wanted a little bit more detail. Now, this is where Kai shines. You have to be specific and ask it the specific thing that you want, right? If you keep it generic, you may get generic answers or even get answers that suggest that Kai cannot um, you'll get responses from Kai that suggest it cannot answer your question or that your questions are out of scope. So please do try to be as specific as possible. So what I intended to ask was, well, let's say, how do I get started with the PWK? You can type PWK modules and perhaps which ones can I start with, right? It's a little bit better. This was what was in my head, right? So can I start with, okay, let's hit this and let's see. So we're currently looking at some basic introductory questions. Nothing fancy here, but like I said, Kai is to handhold you through Pen 200. So why not leverage its capabilities to help you understand exactly what you need for Pen 200?
Yeah.
Anything else popping into your head, Nashul?
In addition to that, what we are going or what we are trying to show you is how to interact with Kai. Now, as with every like AI product available out there, for example, ChatGPT, which is very popular, you have to have the skill of prompting. So you have to know, get used to how to ask it questions, right? And this is what Jervin is showing. Like, you need to be a little bit specific about what you want to ask and then build up from there.
Exactly. To that point, right? If I go back, you can see that here my intention was to ask, how do I get started with the modules? I didn't really type that. I was expecting Kai to give me a response in that manner. It did give me useful information, but then when I was a little bit more specific, you can see that it tells me how I should start, begin with the introductory modules, and then proceed gradually as I master the concepts. Now, I also did mention that Kai had some amount of memory, right? So there was a reference to Kali up there. If I were to be completely new to this, right? Like Nashrul's pretty new to all of the stuff. I
Yeah.
would ask Kai about the Kali stuff that it said up there, right? So I could say, and just to piggyback off this, right? I'm just using some keywords based on some of the things that I've already typed, and I'm going to say that you mentioned setting up Kali. I think it had to do with setting up Kali earlier. And I want to get some more information. So can you provide me, and your English doesn't have to be accurate, right? It doesn't have to be super accurate. Just make sure that the key things that you're looking for is present in your query, right? So provide me with a short guide on how to do that. And then say, provide me with any useful links. Okay, let's hit enter and let's see if Kai can extract some of this data for me.
Mm.
Now, Kai doesn't go out of the Pen 200 material to look for anything else. So it's not going to explore the whole internet looking for useful links for me. Now, some of the links that Kai can access will be the links that have already been provided in the Pen 200 course. So Pen 200 has the links to some external information, and Kai can access those also, right?
Okay. So this is useful and all, Jervin, by all means, right? But I already have Kali installed.
Okay.
So you haven't introduced anything new for me. How about, like, me, for complex concepts, I like to break them down into chunks. That's the way I learn, right? Can you show me an example of how Kai can do that? Like, for example, you
Exactly.
take a complex topic and then break it down so I can digest it.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I know how you struggle with complex things. So let's pick one that usually stamps me. Well, I don't know if it stamps other people, but I never remember Kerberos, Kerberos authentication, how it works and the steps involved, right? Now, guys, please feel free to supply me with anything that you struggle with also, and we will use that as our demo as well. So I already have the tab open. I knew I struggled with Kerberos, so I was already there waiting for the prompt from that show. But anyway, here we go. So let me ask Kai to explain the Kerberos authentication to me and give me all the steps that are involved. Let's say this is what I want to figure out right now. So let's say explain Kerberos authentication to me, and then give me all the steps involved. Okay, so see what this helps me with. Now, this is going to search through the specific module. It's going to start with this module that I'm currently in and look for that information for me. You can see that I'm already present in or under the Kerberos learning objective.
Yeah. So we have a couple of questions in the chat, and I'll bring them up to you, Jervin.
Okay.
First one was, Can it help with exercise questions or lab questions?
It's a very good question. Currently, we don't have that functionality fully implemented yet. It's on the roadmap. However, you can still leverage Kai because it understands the context. If you give it like adequate background of the things that you want to work on, you can actually leverage that to solve challenges and exercises. We're actually going to demonstrate something like that today. So very good question. Yeah.
The second one
Anything else?
is,
Yeah.
is Jervin is a great guy from Ghana, which is something I already know. But do you have or do you advise learning Linux, Python before starting Pen 200 or having basic pen test skills before? This is more of a general question, not tied to Kai.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this is one of your fans, and I just wanted to bring up the question to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words. Um, so it's helpful, really. I'd say that you don't have to learn them, but it's super helpful, right? When you get into the Pen 200 course, because a lot of things are going to be assumed that you know how to do some basic Linux things. The course speeds off right after it mildly touches those concepts, right? Like things like networking. We're not going to teach you subnetting, right? We won't go through things like some of the very core and fundamental IT skills. So in relation to Python, you don't have to be a master of it. What I would encourage you to do is to get familiar with these things. So get familiar with Linux, get familiar with Python, and then you can delve into the course and it's going to be a lot easier. Now, granted, if you jump into the course and you don't know those things, you can learn them as you go along, right? So it's not like a hard, fast rule that you have to do this before you come in. It's something that we recommend because it makes your life a lot easier. You're less stressed and you can use the time that you've used to buy the course and go to the course a lot better. It's more efficient in that regard. Not sure. I don't know if you
Okay.
have anything to add. Yeah.
Um, just wanted to add is that rest assured that, and as you know us at OffSec, we always have something for everybody, right? So in case you need to learn the very, very, very basics before jumping into Pen 200, then we already have 100 level courses. So we have fundamentals course, which will help you through that. Okay, let's continue with our Kai demo here,
Okay.
and then I'll bring up questions as they come, Jervin.
Okay, okay. I see some nice ones. I want to I want to sort of like taper off where I currently am, and then we will certainly come to your question in the chats. So Nashua wanted a breakdown. Nashua, is this complex for you, like this Kerberos stuff? It's pretty complex for me. So
It is
uh,
still very complex.
yeah, I'm not sure how many people remember the stuff anyway. I always have to draw it out or something, right? And keep it with me. And watch the videos and learn it or read the diagram as I drive to work, right? Which I shouldn't be like, watching stuff whilst I drive. But anyway, so this stuff looks pretty complex. I can ask Kai to break it down, make it a little simpler for me. And break it down to me like a child, right? It's always something that we say. So I can say, could you and I saw a joke, actually saw a video, a meme where somebody said, could you break this down? And the woman started breaking, like, breakdancing because she was breaking it down. But anyway, Kai won't do that. Could you break this down to me?
Jervin has silly jokes.
Yeah. Um, like I was child, right? See, now, like I said, Kai does have memory, so it knows what I'm referring to. I don't have to give it the full details. Let's see if that bears out, but it should understand exactly what I'm referring to, right? Even though I said, could you break this down and didn't say specifically what is above it, right? So here Kai delves
Um,
into, yes, sorry, go on, Astro.
yeah, I mean, this is still a bit long for me. Can it help with summarizing it still?
Yeah, you're a very hard person to please, Mr. Nasiruddin. Okay, so let's just ask Kai to summarize this down even further. So let's say summarize. spelled summarize. That's an American spelling, right? It's summarize, write it the British way. Summarize this even further. Make it, I just learned this word today, right? Make it short and succinct, right? Because, if you learn a new word, you want to impress people. Succinct just means brief and like straight to the point, right? So a little bit of redundancy in here, but I want to sort of put all of this in a much shorter form for me to understand, right? Hopefully, is this good enough, Nashel? Please don't say you want anything more.
Um, I'm still not satisfied. So I speak Arabic.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Can
so.
it can it translate to Arabic?
Certainly it can. That's one of the capabilities that Kai possesses. So since Nasho is such a hard person to please and he wants this in Arabic, we can tell Kai to convert whatever he wrote into Arabic. You can actually type Arabic to Kai, and it will understand and respond accordingly, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know any Arabic, so I will do that in regular English, and say, could you translate this? I need to spell. I'm just translate this to Arabic for me, right? And you can just say translate this to Arabic for me. You don't have to use the codes and it's just forces nature, right? It's my habit. So let's see if Kai can actually do that. And if there are any Arabic speaking people here, you can perhaps validate if this is correct or not. I don't trust Nashro when he says he can speak Arabic. I went somewhere with him once, and they were speaking Arabic, and I was not impressed with Nasho's performance. Let's just say that, right? So,
Let me see. Um, okay, sounds about right. Now
okay,
we have another question. Does it support other languages? On how many does it support? Like, can
yeah,
we test it in
yeah,
other languages?
yeah. So, Captain Stoner, could you, which other language you want? Which one should we try? We could certainly try. It doesn't speak my language though, right? Nasho, do you know what my language is? My language is the language of love, right? But Kai doesn't speak. Let me just. My apologies, guys, for the dad jokes. Um, Hindi. Okay, let's try that. Let's say I'll be this to Hindi. So this will be interesting. I haven't tried any of this, right? So, and then if you do speak it, Captain Stoner, perhaps you could verify if that's correct or not. It does handle the more popular languages really well. Okay, this is interesting. Do you speak Hindi? If you do, is this accurate?
I for sure do speak Hindi. What do you mean?
Asho, please stop.
You hear that? That's
No,
my Hindi skills.
okay. All right. I don't know if you can confirm if this is accurate or not, but Kai can do this for not just small text, but even a large amount of text, right? I haven't tried to convert everything that I see in the material into my native language, but I think that you could actually try doing that with Kai also, right? Just convert into your local language, maybe specific parts that you're not sure of, and this would be of immense help to you, right? It can do Spanish, at least I know that, it can do Norwegian. So Captain Stella says looks good, a bit formal, but very precise. Awesome. Awesome. That's good to hear. Right. That we can at least help you if you're not a native speaker of the language.
So
Anything else for me, Nashro?
yeah, when going through the material, right? By no mean we are supposed to remember all commands. I mean, for example, nmap, I always
Yeah.
reference the help menu.
True,
Can
true,
you
true.
help me with commands? Like if I need
Certainly,
a quick reference of a command.
certainly. Um, and let's do that, and then I'll answer Yo-Yo's question because I think this is sort of like related to what you're asking, right? So about tools, right? So let's say nmap, right? Because I always forget specific nmap syntaxes. let's delve into that section. But before I move on though, because we're talking about things that have to do with authentication like NTLM and tools that handle NTLM, let's answer Yoyo's question and then we'll move on. So Yoyo says, let's pull this up so I can see the question here. It says relationship between the two responder and NTLM hashes. So let's ask Kai and see that. What is the relationship between the two responder and NTLM hashes? Right. So let's test this and see.
It's complicated.
Well, I mean, it is, right? Let's see if Kai can understand the context that I'm giving it about responder, if it knows what responder is, and NTLM hashes. Okay, so it says the tool responder is, I'm not going to read all of it, but I see that it's accurately capturing the fact that responder can be used to capture net NTLMV hashes, which is something you can take and relay, right? So awesome. And this was a pretty hard thing for me back then because I used to confuse net NTLM with NTLM and all of that stuff, right? So it adequately covers the fact that not NTLM itself, but net NTLM, which you can actually relay, right, across the network and authenticate to other boxes and do some really fancy stuff. Awesome. Yo-Yo, I'm glad you're happy with the response. Now let's go to Nasho's questions, right? Nasho always asks lame questions. So let's move to Nasho's question and then I'll expect some cooler people to ask me cool questions, right? Now, in relating to the specific questions for Kai, and I'll try and speed up because Nasho has a really cool challenge he wants to go through with you guys. We're going to look at the specific exercise or topic exercise here, which references NSC scripting and leveraging nmap to do vulnerability scanning in that regard. Now, granted, I don't remember all my nmap commands. Thankfully, for this particular challenge, hopefully I'm still connected to the lab. I'll hit start, wait for an IP address so I can validate what Kai gives me, and then ask Kai if he can help me perform an NSC script scan against the particular IP that's going to pop up in a few seconds. So I'll say, give me, I sound like a child, right? Give me the nmap syntax to scan targets using, I think I copied something from the chat, right? The Von NSC script. Okay, so let's try this. And there's something interesting that I've noticed about Kai, right? If you are in a particular module and you ask a very specific question, it does a very good job of if the answer is the specific thing that you're asking for is in that particular module is going to give you exactly that answer. So for example, you see this response, which is accurate, by the way, is also present in this particular module. If I scroll up a little bit, you can see it's just the same response, same IP address even, right? So really helpful. So it's not going to go. That's why we keep highlighting that be under that module and ask the question, right? And if the answer is there, it's going to be super accurate. So let's test this against this particular box. I can sort of pick an IP from the background. So let's paste this. And then replace this with the actual IP address, which is 221.13. And I'll just throw in -v for verbosity so I can see what's going on. And type my password, which is natural, right? Just have the scan. Okay, this is an accurate response. I could also use Kai to generate a table of various things. So I'll show you some really cool things that Kai can do. So for example, if I don't want to keep coming to Kai and asking it specific nmap scan questions, I could say, could you give me like a table of useful nmap commands, maybe to enumerate a Windows machine, right? So let's do something like that. So let's say, give me a table of useful nmap commands for enumerating a Windows machine, right? Let's just see what Kai gives me, because I want to not have to come back to this anymore. I just have a list that I can use. easily.
Uh,
Now Kai does a good job.
i-
Yes.
in the meantime, I have a question for you, Jervin.
Oh my goodness. It's not going to end well. Yes,
So,
please.
do you know what's the difference between a piano, tuna, and a pot of glue?
Um, no, please tell me.
You can tune a piano, but you cannot piano a tuna.
My goodness. Let's please ignore Nasho. Lame jokes.
Well, you didn't ask about the pot of glue, but I knew you'd get stuck on that.
All right. So Kai does a really good job of giving me like a nice list of useful commands. But if I paste this in my notes, it's going to be a bit, difficult because I have to properly format this. I happen to use Obsidian and some other tools for keeping my notes, which does very well with Markdown. So I can say summarize the above um, table in Markdown, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see. What's Captain Stoner saying? Kai says natural. Yeah, please. It's just, yeah, it's natural does this all the time, right? And he sends me these
That-
sort of, lame jokes even in my sleep, and I have to wake up to them. So if you ever see that I'm grumpy, it's because I had to deal with him.
well, if you tell me to stop, then it only makes me to come up with more. So we'll see.
Yep. So here you can see Kai is giving me a really nice summary that I can grab and use immediately in my notes. I could just copy and paste this. If your note supports Markdown, this is a really nice format to just copy and paste in there, right? So as a quick example, I just grab top one and paste this in here. Now, there was a question about doing an exercise, right? So let's use Kai for something a bit more practical in terms of solving an exercise, etc. Right? So I'll move on to one quick one, just to show you some of the challenges that you may have using Kai. There's a small catch there where we can emphasize why you need to add more context, right? So I'll do that natural. Please bear with me. And let's move on to engaging Kai effectively. This is where I want to highlight this particular thing. So let's go back to the Active Directory stuff. Let's go on to password attacks. And I'm going to go ahead and start the last exercise in here. Let's go all the way back to the top. I think I did not shut down the previous machine, right? Thankfully, we have a way of easily handling that. I'm going to just say accept. That will stop that machine and starts a new one for me. And whilst that's going on, we want to go through this, right? There is a question here that's saying that I have to spray or perform a password spray across the set of machines that will be given to me when this exercise actually starts with three different tools in this particular section. Now, there are a number of tools that have already been introduced. I'm just going to quickly look at crack map exec. That was surprisingly a mouthful for me to say. I'm leveraging these credentials. Now, there are a set of names that have been used already. So I will use a user list with those names in there. But you can see crack map exec is in here. And the goal of this particular exercise is to extract what the minimum password length is. So I'm going to use Kai to do this quickly. And like we have been doing in the past, I'll ask Kai a direct question and say, let's copy this. And I'm just going to ask Kai and say, how do I use crack map exec? And I thought it would I thought it was a voice feature, but not yet, right? That's down the road. So, so I need to type this. How do I
So
use?
while Jervin is doing that, I just wanted to mention that be on the lookout for a lot more functionalities with Kai, right? The roadmap, which unfortunately we cannot share a lot of with you, for Kai is looking very promising. Um, so this is for sure the first version, but this is one of many versions, many improved, many with more functionalities. One that I'm hoping for is like if I can interact with it using voice, that way I don't even have to talk to Jervin or ask him questions. But until then, I have to deal with Jervin for now.
Oh my. Alright. Okay, so you can see that Kai provides me with some feedback. Now I know that crap map exec requires the -SMB option. I could ask Kai to fix that. For the sake of time and because Nacho has a really cool demo that he has to go through with you guys, I'm just going to copy this, right? Make the requisite changes. And I'll also highlight some of the things that we can fix with Kai. So I can ask Kai to fix this particular response and give me something that has to do with SMB, right? So I can actually run the password scan against those boxes. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead, and this was our previous scan from before. Looks like it's working. I'll paste this in here and then just fill out the requisite parts, which is the IP addresses that I need to scan. So let's go ahead and let's do, even if I don't actually scan these boxes, Kai is still going to, I can still leverage Kai to fix this particular issue, right? So which box do I want to start? This one. As a starting, I'm going to go ahead and just create a short username. Let me just use a regular username. Let's see. For the targets, I'll give it a range. I think it's going to be a 192.168.221.70. How do I know this? Because I saw that IP before, and typically you'd get the same subnet range as you proceed. So let's do 70 to 75. For usernames, let's pick Dave. I think there was a Jen or something. For passwords, we'll use the password that we have been given, which is Nexus 123. So let's copy this and let's go ahead and just attempt to run this. Right. So Control-Shift-V, make sure that I remove the space and just run crap map exec. The boxes are still starting, but I'm expecting a certain response, right? Because I also know from crap map exec's usage that there are a few things that I don't have. For example, I don't have the protocol, which I need to fix. So I will replicate, repeat this and just put the SMB here. And I think it looks good now. Exactly what I was looking for. This argument that crack map exec Kai gave me as an argument for crack map exec is actually not correct, right? This is wrong. Like there's no argument like this for crack map exec. Now Kai does these things, right? It's still growing. Remember, it's just a baby dragon, right? You can see it's the baby dragon. If you want to see, open image in new tab. It's just a baby dragon, right? So still young, and you have to guide it a little bit, right? So how do I fix this? Now, question for you guys: under what umbrella, like what umbrella term is password poly? Is a password actually? Someone said that is a minimum password length, right? What's a minimum password length? It's usually grouped under something, right? So I want the response from you guys. I don't want to ask Kai again. I think Kai is tired right now. So
While this is going on, just a quick reminder that the demos we're doing here are not geared towards actually solving the exercises as a goal. It's showing you how to interact with Kai or how to leverage Kai. So one thing that we are really interested in, or one question that I could ask you is, have you interacted previously with Kai? If so, how did it do? If not, what would you like to see in Kai, or what improvements would you like to see, right? This is the feedback that's going to drive how Kai is going to look like in the future. That's for sure.
yep. In terms of specificity, I have to be under what umbrella term, I guess would be a better question. Under what umbrella term does
So another question here. Someone says, guys, thanks for the stream. I have a question. Is Kai still on beta test, or it's fully integrated and work well? Well, actually, it is fully integrated. So whatever you're seeing Dervin doing here, you could potentially do if you have access to Pen 200. Now, it's important to mention that right now, since this is beta, since this is like the first version of it, it's only going to be available in Pen 200. Reason is because Pen 200 is one of our most popular courses, and we want to have the most impactful things when doing releases. And so that's why we decided, okay, for Kai, let's do it in Pen 200 first and then iterate over the other courses.
There was a question about the exam. I think that was answered, but presently you cannot use Kai in the exam. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could say yes, right? But you actually cannot use that. So let's see. Perhaps I can access, yeah, this baby dragon thing. I think I got signed out. Not sure. Anyway, do you have time to go through the stuff that you have prepared, or do you want me to wrap up at my end, from my end?
Yeah, I think we have 10 more minutes. So
Yep.
let me attempt to use Kai for what I have planned out.
Awesome. Awesome.
Then
Let's do that.
we'll see, right?
Yep. Let's do that. So
So
let's switch.
this
How do I stop
is
my, yeah, I'm going to
you don't
stop my
have
screen
to, I'll
share.
just take you don't have to stop.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just take over right now.
Okay.
Uh, all right.
Because I don't trust you, it's, yeah, let me just, yeah.
No, I was thinking about like when I do my demo, I was thinking about doing a joke about retirement, but it didn't work. So
Yes. Nacho, please stop. Right. Okay. Yes. And so
but
welcome to the dark side, right? The dark side. It's also actually falls in line with the whole Dracula thing, right, Nacho?
yeah. Okay. So now, just to give you a little bit of background, um, as I mentioned previously, with OffSec, especially with the Pen 200 course, we do have a lot of resources that can help you succeed. One of those resources is Kai. The other is something called Challenge Labs. Now, these challenge labs, if you go through them all, there would be no better things that could help you get your OSCP certificate than these challenges. Because the first three challenges here uh, are general challenges. The second three challenges are named OSCP-A, OSCP-B, and OSCP-C. These are actual retired OSCP machines. So there could literally be nothing that could prepare you more for your OSCP other than these challenges. Besides the point. So what I want to do right now is I want to see how I can leverage Kai in order to help me solve one of the challenge labs. For example, I picked up MedTech. Now, once you start the machine, you're connected to the VPN and everything is working, you'll get this network, right? Now, I'm keeping an eye on the chat, right? So just quickly tell me, based on the following information, because even though we have AI functionality now, we still need to do some thinking, right? Now, quickly tell me, which network am I able to interact with? Is it the 172 or the 192? Let's see.
Yeah,
192.
that's what I
Correct,
see.
right? That's because I have a route to the 192.168.220 network through 192.168.45 network, which is my tune 0. That's a little bit of thinking that we did. Now, let's see how we can leverage Kai. What's the first thing you want to do when you have a subnet of network, let's say in your pen test engagement?
So you could ask for more money, right, Nacho?
Of course, there's always that option, but so I guess the first thing would be Sorry, I cannot wait a lot for your responses, but feel free to post them in the chat. It's because of the delay happening between Zoom and Twitch, and given that we only have around 6 minutes left, I would like to go through this. So, assuming that you said scanning, which you are correct with, I want to ask Kai the following question. Help me come up with an nmap command that scans the 192.168. What was the network again? 220-0/24 networks top 100 ports. And I want to also tell it to make it a fast initial scan using the -t option and be verbose.
Yeah. So,
Reason why,
yeah, Nasha, go on.
yeah, just quickly wanted to mention is that the reason why we want to be on the same sort of module as to the context of what we're asking, for example, scanning, is for two reasons. First, Kai will be faster with answering with the module that you're already on. Second, uh, sorry, what was I talking about?
Anyway, I told you should change that name, right? Nasha.
Yeah.
That's a
Uh,
primary reason, right? It's faster.
yeah. So the second thing is because if I want to, after I have the command here, and say I want to take a quick look here, for example, active information gathering, TCP port scanning, and then scroll down for the nmap commands, right? Then I'll be able to view Kai's response as well as the content that's presented in Pen 200. The reason for that is because if I quit right now, in the first version of Kai, it does not save the conversation. Future versions, that's something for sure that it will do. So let's see what Kai came up with. Now, it says nmap -t4 v for verbose, but this is the issue here. It says -p and then dash. This will scan all the ports, not the top 100 ports. This is, as Jevon mentioned, it's totally expected from Kai. It'll hallucinate a little bit of time, or sometimes, right? It's because it's still learning. And as you know, all AIs are not very mature. So you will still need to do some thinking behind the scenes. But this is useful now. So if we take this and then we supplement it with what we want to do. So this is what Kai gave us as a command, and then we supplement it with what we know or what the help menu came up with. Let's see. If we want to scan top ports, then we can just use top ports and then the number of ports. But the catch here is that it already helped us with the first part of the command. Now, nmap is fairly easy in terms of syntax, but if you look at other commands, it might get ugly real quick. So this is helpful already. So let's do 100. And then the second part, which is going to be the IP range. Top ports equal 100. And there's that. Now, once the results come in, we want to try something else. We want to try to tell Kai, hey, be a little bit slower, because as we know, for this command, T4 is pretty fast. Now, faster is not always going to be better. It's because you might have some network issues, and it might cause some reliabilities issues with your scan results. And so let's try and ask Kai to do a command that will be a little bit slower than what it did previously. So
Yeah, not sure.
make,
It looks like it actually coincides with a question that Cypher Crimson was asking, right? So yeah, he probably read ahead. Yeah. So
yeah,
this is it's a nice coincidence.
that's awesome. So let's try and do that. Now, granted, we only have 1 minute left. This is too bad because you don't get to hear a lot about a lot of my voice. I know, I know you do. You'd like to hear a lot of my voice as opposed to Jervin's, but that's fine. Let's do it in the next stream. Hopefully, I don't know, but you'll get the announcement.
Yeah, I do
So
have a question. You guys want to see a part two of this where Nacho can fully go through like a challenge where he does all of it with Kai? Whilst the responses come in, Nacho, sorry, please go ahead and wrap up then.
yeah. So just to wrap up here, Kai already helped us with changing the command. Now it's saying T3, and then we can actually verify that because if we go to the help menu, we'll be able to validate that for timing and performance, T4 is faster than T3. So it dropped down the performance. So it's good. All right. I think that this I had a lot planned, but I think this is all that's going to be shown in this session. Now, if you want another session where we fully walk through a challenge machine, just let us know. Scream right in the chat. Uh, but that would be it for now. Hopefully, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Nacho, you can stay back and like, and have some fun with everybody else on the call. But
Yeah.
I think,
So
yeah, go
one
on.
thing I wanted to mention: don't leave the call yet. If you haven't heard the OffSec song, we're about to play it in a bit.
And it looks like we're getting some good responses that would like to see this again. Someone said, so Captain Stoner says, thanks, Jevon and Nashro, much appreciated. P.S. Kai texted me and said, no Nashro jokes next time, or I'll turn into Skynet. So Nashro, please do not doom the rest of the world, right? It's your
That is
horrible, horrible, horrible jokes.
that is the exact reason why we're doing this demo, chat. It's because we know that at some point AI will become sentient, and so is Kai, and we want to be the ones that promoted it. So we'll be on the safe side.
I told you about
All
the
right.
Count Dracula thing, right? Count. Anyway,
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys, and I hope, or we hope, to catch you on the next session.
yep.
Uh, Let me play the song for you, and bye bye.